All righty, Coach. Thanks for hopping on. We got lightning round week 2. We will start it out with Austin Ward from Rivals. Austin, go ahead.
Hey, Ryan. The other part of Jackson's injury is that he was handling the punt returning duties. I know Emeka was back there. It seemed like it was a little bit of an adventure. What did you make of Emeka trying out that role in week 1? And is there anybody else in consideration over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I thought Emeka did fine fielding the punts. It was kind of a strange punting game in the return phase because we had him back at a certain depth, and then the punter from Notre Dame kind of mishit a couple, and then it was rolling like 20 yards, and it's like the worst feel in the world. So we moved him up to try to maybe catch that and steal those yards, and then he puts it over our head. So we got to do a better job there. But I think that was more on us. I thought he tracked that one pretty good, so he'll be back there for us. But yeah, we may look at some other guys back there as well. Cam Martinez being another one, because we need to build some depth back there for sure.
All righty, we'll go next to Jared Smalley, WCMH.
Hi, Ryan. Very simple one. How impactful and how necessary is a healthy Cam Brown?
Very impactful. This is somebody who's been here for a while, and he's very talented. So one of his big challenges this year is staying healthy, because he has had some injuries along the way, and I know he wants to be healthy this year. And you can see in the game what a healthy Cam Brown looks like, and that makes a big difference to our defense for sure.
All righty, we'll go next to Bill Landis from Rivals. Bill.
Hey, Ryan. I know you're probably still trying to figure out exactly what the identity of this offense is going to be moving forward. And as you said, you guys are going to throw the ball well. I don't think anybody's worried about that. But was there anything that happened on Saturday that maybe leads you to believe that perhaps the run game can be a little more forward facing for you guys this year, or the thing that maybe you hang your hat on a little bit compared to last season?
Well, one of the things that we knew in the offseason just across the board was, if we want to get to where we need to be, we got to play good defense. We got to stop the run. And that's something that we spent time on, and we've got off to a good start there. But also, in order to be complete on offense, we have to run the football when they know we're going to run the ball. There's certain teams that'll play us and drop 8 and put 2 high safeties up there. And when that happens, we have to run the football. And, again, we're going to continue to see the same game plan certain times during the year where guys want to run the ball, huddle, snap the ball inside of 5 seconds, and limit the possessions that we're on the field on offense. When that happens, we can't let our pride and ego get in the way. We have to do what we need to do to win the game, and that's the goal. And a big part of that is me right here. I love scoring points and throwing it, but if that means we got to throw the ball and we got to control the clock and take 6 minutes or 7 minutes off the clock in the fourth quarter, or end the game in a 4-minute drill, we got to do that. And so that's all part of the process, and we have to figure out ways to win different styles of game based on what we need. And the focus can't be on the number of points or the number of yards. The focus has to be on winning games. Now, that being said, we can do a much better job execution, especially in the first half. There's things in there. There's penalties. There's some things in there we got to really clean up, and that's part of week 2 of growing and building.
All righty, we'll go next to Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Ryan, I know CJ is still trying to build some chemistry with those receivers, and that's first and foremost. But behind the scenes, you've got Kyle and Devin, who maybe have an opportunity this week to maybe get some snaps. So what have you seen in development for both of those guys, especially with Kyle being in year 2?
Just the room in general has been strong. There's been there's a good relationship between all those guys, and they're all getting reps and trying to get better. At the end of the day, when you're a backup quarterback, you're one snap away, and sometimes that doesn't feel that way. But you have to be mature enough, and that CJ was in that boat in the past. Almost every quarterback has been in that situation. So what you can't do is all of a sudden find yourself in a game and be like, well, I wasn't quite prepared for that, or the game's moving faster than I expected. You can't do that. And that's going to be the challenge. So whenever they have an opportunity to get in the game and play, they got to be a competitive excellence, just like everybody else. And I know they're working hard to prepare for that moment.
All righty, next up, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Ryan, you guys didn't play any freshmen on offense or defense against Notre Dame. Does that make it really important in these next couple non-conference games for you to be able to get those guys some reps?
I think in this first game, just the way it played out with the number of plays, number of possessions, there really wasn't much of an opportunity to get guys in the game. I think that as the season goes on, there'll be more of an opportunity to do that. Certainly on special teams, but on offense and defense as well. We have some talented guys out there, but we'll see whatever it takes to win the game first, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, we want to start getting more and more guys in the game. Guys deserve to play, and I think when you start to see more plays, then that will happen.
Alrighty, next up, Tony Gerdeman, Buckeye Huddle.
Ryan, how important is it to have old guys like Matt Jones and Enoch from IE stick it out at Ohio State, and how much more difficult is that getting for a coach to have happen?
Yeah, I mean, as you're saying, it's harder and harder every year, and I think you're asking the question because you understand why, but you have to recruit great people who want to focus on development. If the number one thing is NIL and everything else, then those type of situations don't happen, whether it's Xavier Johnson, Matt Jones, or Jerron Cage. I think when you look at our guys, they love being Buckeyes. They love being part of this team. They love what it means to live in Columbus and, be part of our team. And with that, when you make it, the rewards are endless. And so you're seeing that with a couple of guys who put some good hard work in. And then having the COVID year is an extra bonus for us. Being able to have some of these guys here for an extra year is going to be really important. And there's an opportunity for some of those guys to come back for another year or two, which is amazing. And that's very unique. We'll have guys at maybe 22, 23 years old who will still maybe have another year left, which is very, very exciting for us. And maybe some of those guys would have moved on to the NFL where they get to come back for another year. Because there's so many advantages to being part of this program and being a Buckeye. And I know those guys love it and they enjoy it. Because once you leave, it's over. You're always a Buckeye, but you're moving on to the next phase of your life. So, no, it's very important to have those guys in a program, and becoming more difficult, like you're saying, but hats off to those guys for sticking it out. And now they're getting to see, all the sacrifice they've made pay off.
Alrighty, next up, we'll go to Clay Hall, ABC 6.
Ryan, last night, some of your D linemen, Zach and JT, were comparing Mike Hall to Aaron Donald. Now, whether that's accurate or not, but they all called him a dog. Do you see other, as they say, they got that dog in them. Do you see other dogs coming on defense in addition to Mike?
I think we have some very good players on defense. I think what we have to do, and something that I've told the entire team, is that, after a game gets done, especially a high profile game like that, everyone's going to have their opinions, whether it's the national media, the local media, your dad, your uncle, your brother, your girlfriend. Everyone's going to have their opinion on what happened, because that's just how it goes. If you're going to start listening to those opinions, then you're going to get distracted and it's not going to help you. So if someone says you were really good and all of a sudden you're the next Aaron Donald, well, you better be careful. If someone tells you that you're not very good and that you need to improve, or that, this stinks or that's not very good, then you got to be careful of that too, because that can become a distraction. So one of the things we can't do is listen to the noise. And I know Mike's not going to do that. Mike's going to stay hungry like he's always been and continue to grow, because he's got very, very high end potential. You can see it. He's practiced that way every day. And when he's hungry, he can be a very, very good player. Now, we've seen what he can do, just like a lot of guys did on offense and defense on Saturday. But now being able to do it consistently is what the challenge is. It's like bringing home an A in English. Okay, you can do it. Now, can you do it all the time? And so, those are some of the things that we're talking about this week.
Even if it's your own noise.
Sure.
All right, we'll go next to Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Hey, Ryan, I guess Jim kind of answered any questions about how aggressive he was going to be with that first play call against Notre Dame the other night. But obviously there's a risk reward situation there into how it affects an offense. What sort of philosophical conversations did you guys have about that, and how, and I know you made him the head coach of the defense, but conversations you had about the philosophy that you wanted from an aggressiveness standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, we've We've talked about it before. What I don't want to do is get in the way. What I want to do is allow him to call what he thinks is best to stop their offense. Now, when you're in games like that, you got to be smart. You can't take a lot of chances and give up big plays. And he didn't. He was very good. He was really calculating what he did. And I thought it was a job well done. I thought we were smart there in the fourth quarter. He and I talked on the phones, and it was a 2-score game, and so we have to be smart in those situations, force them to come all the way down the field and score without giving them big plays. And I thought that was well done. It quickly punted, and then we won the game in a 4-minute drill. But each game has its own set of scenarios and circumstances, and being aggressive certainly has an impact on the offense, and we want to do that. We don't want to sit back, and that means there may be some big plays along the way. But those are all calculated, and as long as we continue to be aggressive. And the other thing is, even when you give up a big play, you have an opportunity to get them off schedule the next time they put the ball on the ground. So as long as we can get them down on the ground, kind of like what happened in that first drive, then in the second play, Mike's in the backfield, forced a 3rd and long, and then we get off the field with a field goal. I think our guys believe in that. They believe in the fact that they can force them to snap it one more time, and maybe we get them off schedule, and we go from there.
All right, we'll go next to Brendan Gulick, Buckeyes Now on SI.
Hey, Coach, I'm sure you're probably a little tired about focusing on last week, but I have one more question related to things you might want to try to clean up from last week, and that was the 4 15-yard penalties. How do you try to coach guys to still be aggressive? You don't want to take that out of them, but recognizing that 15-yard penalties are unacceptable as you try to make progress throughout the course of games.
I mean, there's a couple of them there that are certainly there for player safety, and I get them, so I'm not arguing with them, but I think that's part of the game. The one that Jaden had where he retaliated was completely unacceptable and ridiculous. That's lack of discipline. The ones that bother me, though, with the 5-yarders, with the false starts, we just can't have those type of things. That's going to get us off schedule on offense. So there's certain things that when we're aggressive, there are going to be things like that, and those things we're not going to back down from. But we also have to be smart, certainly. But I thought there was some tough ones in there, and we'll kind of live with those. But the ones that we can control, we got to do better with.
All right, last couple here. We'll go to Bill Rabinowitz. Bill.
Yeah, Matt Jones said he had 102-degree fever the night before the game. The fact that he gutted it out, played well. What does that say about him? And also, how prepared would you be for him to play center if Luke can't go? And you probably won't update his status, but if you could. Yeah.
No, I mean, he's had a good week. He's been practicing, so we should be good there. We'll continue to evaluate him, but no, I mean, that's, we say it all the time at Ohio State, we're not allowed to have a bad day, and that's everybody. That's players, that's coaches, that's across the board. And so I just think, our guys have taken on that mentality, and you got to be able to count on me. And even on a day like that, I can still be pretty good, and on my good days be great, and on my great days be elite, and I just, that's the way this game is, because this game will take you to your knees. This game doesn't care if, you lost a family member. This game doesn't care if you're sick. This game doesn't care what happened last week. It's unforgiving, and you have to understand that. And that's why we have our scarlet line. Every time we cross the scarlet line onto practice and onto the field, you have to put all those things behind that. We just got to go put it on the field for our brothers, and that's the way football is played. And it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it, but that's the reality of it. And so to see someone gut it out like that means a lot.
And last one, Tim May, Lettermen Row. Tim.
Yeah, Ryan, do you get involved with Jim Knowles on basically who starts? I mean, I know a lot of head coaches like to have their finger in the pie there from the standpoint of at least dictating, making decisions along that line, who deserves it, who doesn't, blah, blah, blah. And then is Lathan Ransom one of those guys who you expect to be in the starting lineup this week based on what he showed, based on how he's come back, et cetera?
Yes and yes. I mean, I expect Josh to play. But yeah, that's the one area we go through personnel on a weekly basis and go through everybody and have lengthy conversations about everybody on defense, and do the same thing on offense, and certainly go through it all and listen to everybody's opinion. But at the end of the day, when it comes to personnel, I have the final decision, and I listen to our guys. I trust them. They're the ones that are with them every day. They're the ones who, most guys have recruited their position room, not as much the new guys, but they know them. They have relationships. And at the end of the day, they have to make the decisions on who they think is best. I'll make the final decision, but I want their input because they're responsible for them. And we're all here to do a job, and we're evaluated on how well our units play and how well our sides of the ball play. But I do have a background with these guys. I know them well. I've recruited them all, and certainly use Mick Marotti and Mark Pantoni in our evaluations. And so the good news is we have a lot of depth at a lot of positions. So there's great competition there, and we'll see more and more of those guys get in the game this week.
Yeah, and reiterate, you said you do expect Josh to play. So basically, you expect Lathan to start, but Josh to play, right? I mean, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, we still have to finish the week out and see.
Yeah.
But that would be the plan going in. But let's see what happens towards the end of the week, and I'll check with Jim, and I'll check with Perry and get their feedback, and we'll make the final decision as we head into Saturday.
What's RJ status?
He's probably doubtful this week. Let's say we'll call him doubtful.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah.
All righty. Thank you, Coach. We'll talk to you Saturday.
All right, guys. Thanks.